You're listening to the B2B Growth Think Tank, the show that brings you the virtual hot seat where each week my expert guests and I help another business leader by masterminding actionable solutions to a specific challenge they're currently trying to solve in their business. So if you're looking for answers to a specific challenge that you're facing, that if you could solve in the next 90 days would have a huge impact on your growth, send it in to thinkttank@thinklikeafish.co.uk and we'll see if we can feature you on the show. My name is Adam King, your host and the captain of the ship at growth consultancy Think Like a Fish. And if you're ready to rethink what's possible for your business and discover the growth strategies, advice and insight to turn this new vision into a reality, let's get started. What I'm going to be doing today is show you these 10 specific examples of using a strategic alliance that can generate you business and revenue and profits in ways that maybe you might not necessarily have considered when it comes to strategic alliances. So let's take a look at what these are. So the first one is to establish purchasing and supply relationships at more favorable rates. So you can partner with somebody and basically benefit from the economies of scale when it comes to their supplier and purchasing arrangements and vice versa. So that means that every bit of money that you save can go towards your bottom line and your profit. So there's many different ways that you can do this, and it really comes down to the sort of economies of scale that are there if you are buying certain things or purchasing things on a regular basis that you and a partner would also benefit from combining together to benefit from more favorable rates. So the second one is reducing overhead through shared cost and outsourcing. And again, this sort of follows on from the one above, but you can share costs where, you could partner with someone if they have like manufacturing that is not being used, and you can use that sort of thing if you're in that sort of area, or you can outsource certain things that are higher cost for you to deliver to a strategic partner. So you can actually find someone that can do something cheaper and better and more efficient than you can internally and take advantage of that, and therefore you get to benefit from obviously the reduction in the cost of that, but then also the uptick in higher customer and client satisfaction and all the things that come with that. So it's a really, really good way of thinking about using strategic alliances. So the third is to strengthen a reputation in an industry as a result of association. So again, I think if you've watched some of the other videos and the other episodes, then this has sort of come up a lot, that you can strengthen your reputation by having a strategic alliance with another company or business or entity which has a real solid presence in the market, a solid reputation, and you become that trusted source as a result of association. It's kind of like that thing. If you're seen next to somebody high profile, that kind of thing, or you walk into a room with someone and somebody high profile says hello and comes up and shakes your hand that everybody knows, then everybody else's heads is like, right, well, who's this guy? Obviously he must be someone because he knows that guy and that guy knows him, right? So it's a similar kind of idea with this. So it's a really, really good way of thinking about using strategic alliances. So the fourth one is to capitalize on hidden assets. Now that's both within your business and within your partner's business. Now the hidden assets, it could be anything in your business like unconverted leads, it could be dormant customers, it could be anything like that, and the same as it goes with your strategic alliance partner, but also it could be using assets that you don't necessarily know that you have, or they don't know that they have, and you can look to co-brand or offer certain things as a package with other businesses and that kind of thing. So it really is looking at what you have that you're not necessarily taking full advantage of. It could be IP, it could be process, it could be all sorts of all sorts of things. It's really about sort of having a think about what some of those assets may well be. So the fifth is gain a competitive advantage over competition. So if you're able to create a strategic alliance, that can allow you to do all sorts of things that a competitor wouldn't necessarily be able to do if they don't understand this idea of strategic alliances, right? So you can get market penetration, you can get scale, and you can get speed by partnering with someone. Whereas your competition may be only spending their time thinking, right, okay, well, I've got to do, advertising, or I've got to do this marketing thing, or I've got to do blah, 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 blah. And they're only thinking of like what their capability is. Whereas you can come in and do a few strategic alliances and all of a sudden be everywhere. And your competition's going to be there going, where the hell did this come from? How did they do that? And, it really can give you that competitive advantage, because once you've got them, those strategic alliances, it's going to be hard for your competition to come in and say, hey, can we have a piece of this too? So the sixth is to utilize other companies' excess capacity. Now, what this could mean, it could be anything from, it could be that your partner would have some form of sales capacity, if you need salespeople, for example, but you don't want to hire a sales staff, your partner will have people that sell to a similar sort of company, but they're underutilized. You could come in and say, hey, can we do a deal where, we use some of, your salespeople? That's one way. Another way is that you could find and do something whereby you're able to offer your clients, your customers, something that's incredibly valuable by using the excess capacity of other people. So a great idea that I heard from Tom Matson when he came on the podcast was an example of having a referral program, whereby what a company would do is they would say to their clients, they say, if you can recommend anyone that you think would benefit from the service that we provide, we would love to take you and them out for lunch. And what they would do is go to a really nice restaurant that was really busy in the evening but didn't have much in the afternoon, and do a strategic alliance with them whereby they would get that meal at an incredibly reduced rate, or even for free, because that restaurant would understand that these are the highest quality and best clients that are coming to them. So by giving that meal at a time where they had that excess capacity anyway, they were potentially getting customers and diners and people for a lot longer afterwards. So it worked win-win for both sides. So you can think about all sorts of different ways of doing this. So the seventh way is to monetize sunk costs. Now, what I mean by sunk costs is all of the the costs that you have incurred over the years to generate your lead list, to generate your clients, to gain skills, knowledge, all that kind of thing. You can partner with someone to say, okay, well, again, the example of unconverted leads, you can go and say to a partner, it's like, look, we have all of these leads. You can even go to a competitor, by the way, with this and say, look, we've got all of these unconverted leads that for whatever reason have not bought from us. We can do a deal here whereby if we promote you to these leads, we'll take a percentage of whatever is sold, and vice versa. It can work that way because, it costs a lot of money to generate a lead, and most people let them sort of sit somewhere and not do an awful lot with if they haven't converted over, a very short period of time. So there's just some ideas there, but you can also think about okay, if you've got a particularly profitable advertisement campaign that is working for you, you can monetize that by offering it to other businesses that aren't in the area, your direct competitive area. Like, you can go to them and say, look, this campaign is working fantastic for us. If you would like to buy it, license it, whatever it is, this is what it costs. It's a really fantastic way of doing things. So there's all sorts of ways you can think about monetizing your sunk costs. The eighth is getting access to knowledge and expertise beyond your internal capabilities. So we sort of touched on it a little bit, but if you lack certain expertise internally and you don't want to have to hire people or anything like that, you can do a strategic alliance with people where you get access to their people that can do this, that understand this. So you could strategic alliance with people and they will give you skills when it comes to, maybe they've got a way of selling, a selling system that they can train your people with. You can get access to people that may have design skills or marketing skills or writing skills or content creation skills, video editing skills, all of these sorts of things. You can find people rather than having to go out and actually hire. You can do a joint venture deal where you would get access to that and sort of structure a deal that will work for both sides. So there's another way of you thinking about doing it. Now, the ninth way is you could raise money to help you grow. Now, you can have a strategic alliance with somebody, and it is there to think, right, okay, how do I generate investment? And that person, that partner could be a direct investor in your company, so they invest with you. That's one way of doing it. Or they could be someone that has a network of people that would potentially invest, and you can get access through that way and things like that. So again, lots of different ways to think about that. And then the 10th could be you have strategic alliances which result in people becoming advisors for your board to help you grow. So a lot of the time, obviously, advisors on board and people like that, they are not necessarily sort of, directly paid for, but you can have people come on and maybe you do an equity deal or something like that. But if you need that sort of higher end knowledge, which again is sort of related to the access to the knowledge and expertise as point 8. But if you need someone to come in with that sort of high level knowledge or strategy, or has experience of taking a company from where you are to where you want to get to, then this is a fantastic way of doing it, using strategic alliances to get people onto your board that can really help with that real sort of strategic oversight. So that's not quite it. I'm going to give you a bonus. I did say 10, but I am going to give you a bonus, because the 11th way is creating a mastermind group, because again, it comes on, to the idea of getting knowledge and all the rest of it. But if you create strategic alliances with a number of different businesses, why not take that further and create some form of mastermind group, whereby the power of that mastermind group can help everybody within that group rise. As I say, a rising tide lifts all ships. So why not use the goodwill and the relationships you're building with your strategic alliance partners and take it even further? You can introduce each other. You can help each other solve business problems. You can help each other grow in multiple different ways by literally getting together. It can be once a month, it can be once a quarter, whatever it may well be. But you literally get together and you brainstorm and you think of ideas and you solve problems together and you all grow together. It's a fantastic way of growing business. So hope you like that, the little bonus there. But those have been my, the 10 surprisingly, or 11 surprisingly powerful ways to grow your business through strategic alliances. In the next episode, what I'm going to be covering is some of the strategic alliance arrangements, the types of arrangements and the sort of contracts that you may well need if you're getting into this to maximize profit, and also to avoid any sort of rip-offs that can, unfortunately, potentially happen. So that's it for this episode. I hope you found it valuable. I hope you got some great ideas that you can take away and apply to your business to help you grow. If you did, please share it with somebody else that might also find this valuable, because they will thank you for it. Also, to let you know that I have a podcast gift page where I put a lot of resources that I love to share with my listeners. You can find the links to join the Facebook community there, and you can get my book, The Conversational Relationship Marketing, and the audiobook version, all for free, plus a number of other resources I'll be adding over time on that page. So make sure you head there to thinklikeafish.co.uk/podcast gift, and you can help yourself to the things that make most sense to you. And if you have enjoyed the show, please make sure you're subscribed. You'll get updated as the new episodes come out. And finally, last favor, please consider giving the show your honest rating and review on Apple Podcasts. I read every single one. They mean the world from me. I love hearing from my listeners, and it does help others find the show as well. So if you want to go and do that, I'd really appreciate it. But until next time, have an awesome day, and we'll speak soon.